In what situations do you have a pattern of overreacting or undercorrecting? All right, y'all. So it's season 2, episode 7. We're here on this beautiful, I'm gonna call it beautiful, this beautiful March 13th, 2022. And this week, we're moving on from the last Sunday sit down, which was about unease and dis-ease. And we're still staying in that discomfort, right? Because it's important for us to get into discomfort, but we're moving along onto like that internal piece, like our reactions. So we can experience unease, dis-ease, discomfort, but our actions or the way we respond to that matters, right? It matters for our interpersonal relationships. It matters for our sense of self. It matters for our confidence. It matters for our possibilities and for the energy that we give off to those around us. So we're heading in that direction today, and I'm super excited to see where you all go with your reflection on these matters. Before we get going, I'm Janae Peters. I'm the founder, CEO, a lot of things right now for Prolific Shifts. And I'm moving more deliberately into this season of Prolific Shifts' main focus, which is being a fellowship program that is a collective and community care space for Black educators interested in personal and professional leadership development and just growth on general levels. And then this space, this is just a sharing space. Like, you're a little bit in my head here, but not really. I'm not giving you the best that I got, but I'm giving you some good stuff here, I think, for anyone who's interested in making any kind of shift or just being more reflective as you move through your worlds. This is that space. I'm offering a question and action item this week in the hopes that y'all are taking these seriously. Even if you are only engaging them for yourself, or if you're sharing them with people you love and trust, whatever the case, if you've thought about these questions or if a question has intrigued you, I appreciate you, because that's the point of sharing them. So this week's question is one that I heard in a different way somewhere else. I was watching something that was talking about how we often overreact, and I think it was talking about the relationship between that and shame. And I started to really think about overreaction and undercorrection, right? So humans, I think we know this. We are shame averse. We don't like that feeling. We don't like the feeling of guilt. We don't actually really like the feeling of pain. Like, that is a torturous experience for us, right? So in our interpersonal relationships, whether it's family, friendships, romantic relationships, siblinghoods, whatever it is, when we're confronted, right, when there's an issue, when there's conflict or tension, we start to feel all the things we don't want to feel, right? We feel hurt, we feel grief, we feel shame, all those things that I noted before, and we have a decision to make when we feel that. And I say that I believe that most of us have a decision to make, and that decision is how we're going to react. So we can think about what it might look like to respond in ways that feel appropriate to what has happened. Sometimes, like, people don't even know how they've hurt us, right? Like, somebody could be joking and say that one thing that you've been actually hella insecure about, and that takes you to another level, and you don't want to just have a comeback in good fun. You want them to feel what you feel, right? So you hit them where it hurts. That is a reaction, and you could argue an overreaction depending on what the situation was. And oftentimes I think we're more willing to defend our actions or defend our decisions, and this is one I'm completely guilty of. I can explain why I did everything that I did, and that is real for me, like, because I approach a lot of things intentionally, so I know why I did what I did. And yet, when it lands on someone else in a different way, I could either decide to make them feel whatever guilt or shame or discomfort that I'm feeling around not having done it right, or I can correct, right? If someone has given me information about how my action, how my response has landed on them, or how my practice has landed on them, I can also correct myself. But we're not humble enough for that in this society. But this is something to really think about, like, what kinds of situations we find ourselves in, where instead of correcting our behaviors or responding with change behavior, where we overreact, we defend, we try to hit them where it hurts, when actually we still end up being the most hurt regardless. But So much to think about there. All right, y'all. So remember, the question for this week is, in what situations do you have a pattern of overreacting and undercorrecting? And that pattern language is very deliberate. There are oftentimes we have one-offs, but really try to identify the patterns in this space. And so the action item is to really take stock of the spectrum of your reactions to different interpersonal experiences, and note how frequently you overreact and or undercorrect, and what you can learn about the situations and environments where you respond that way. If you realize it's with a certain person or around a certain topic, where maybe it's like maybe you know your insecurities and it happens a lot around there, whatever the case is, note what those things are. And then when you identify a sticky point, brainstorm a few of those and like really consider, and then write out or say what a correction or what a more authentic and appropriate response or reaction might have looked like. One thing that I like to not forget here is that we are large, right? We contain multitudes. That's Walt Whitman. I like to really try to quote Black people, but I have always loved that one. We are large and we contain multitudes. And there are so many ways that we can respond to things that happen in our worlds. But the question here, I guess what I'm urging us to do and what I want to do for myself, is to really bring intention and deliberate action to those circumstances to see what actually serves us. Does it serve us to overreact when someone's hurt our feelings, or to react in defense and anger when someone's hurt our feelings? Probably not. But like, what reaction would be not appropriate? I don't actually like that word the more that I say it, but what would be most effective? Like, what would serve us best in those moments? Like, what do we need in those moments? So think about this and let me know what you're thinking about, or let somebody know what you're thinking about. And looking forward to the next Sunday sit down. All right, y'all.